Welcome to Bloodbath & Beyond. Today we review a trauma gem sucker, the vampire. It's time to raise the stakes.
Directed by Hans Rodionoff, starring Yan Birch, Alex Erkiletian, and Monica Baber. This movie is about Reed, a familiar to the vampire known as Anthony, who uses his stardom as a vampire rock singer to court and then feast on his groupies.
I need an AIDS test.
You wear a condom, right?
Reed, I suck their blood.
Facing the realization that Anthony has AIDS from drinking all the blood of these groupies, and Reed potentially has AIDS because he's been banging the dead bodies that he's been disposing for Anthony, they must cope with what time they have left. This was a recommendation from one of our donators over on Patreon, Oren Yonan. You guys can request whatever you guys want. He won our monthly movie raffle. This is a movie I would have never thought to watch. So thank you. Maybe that's because we don't really review vampire movies much. Let's try and come up with some likes. The first 10 minutes of this movie are great. The comedy is trauma-esque for sure, but I think what really caps it off is we have busty babes, full frontal nudity, and there's a lot of potential with Vanessa Helsing, who's just like a badass vampire killer. And I guess Reed was kind of funny at the very beginning of this movie.
I beg to differ. Reed was the best part of this movie. Without Reed, this would not have been as enjoyable.
Was this enjoyable?
I was fun to make fun of. And Reed was the cause of that with whoosh, whoosh.
I don't love this style of comedy. That's probably why we don't review a ton of trauma movies on the channel as well. I thought that his character was too over the top, but I can understand people have a difference of opinions.
This is his only film, and I can see why. He's not a good actor, but I think that's what I like about him, is the fact that he's so bad that I'm entertained by watching him.
I can agree with that. He was absolute trash. And so we laughed a lot.
I thought the set was kind of cool. Like, Anthony had a pretty ballin' lair. He had, like, the pimp house.
And it was well lit. I mean, like, well lit enough for a vampire to be able to walk around in and stuff. It was, like, blue and pink. Maybe a little too blue and pink all the time. But it looked kind of cool. I'd want to live there for sure. I mean, well, not if Reed was kicking around, that's for fucking sure. There's not a chance, especially when Reed says that he's going to be the live-in roommate.
The moon is full. The veins of young nubile bodies bear much fruit.
I would have been out of there, or I would have killed him in some way. If I was a vampire, not if I was a human, Jay, because that would be weird. He wouldn't be my familiar at all. He would be unfamiliar. But I'd rather have somebody a little more competent, a little cooler to hang out with. I really liked Vanessa Helsing, and I really wanted her to be the main protagonist in this movie.
But it's not. It's Reed.
I refuse to believe that that is what happened here.
I like that halfway in this film, you have the realization that this isn't about Anthony and Vanessa Helsing. It's the tale of Reed. When you can come to terms with that, it makes it that much more fun. I also liked the fact that Vanessa Helsing had a variety of stakes, considering she went from like your traditional to your futuristic metallic to just like sharpening a stick.
That's what I'm saying. She should have been the main lead. There's so much potential there. I'm done here. We're going to the dislikes. I hate Reed. I hate him. He shouldn't have been the main part of this movie. Every time he did anything, he was just whipping his fucking hands around, and it was weird. It was just like whoosh, whoosh, and he's just slapping, and they make these stupid air sounds. I don't know what that guy was thinking. I hope they didn't, like, the director wasn't like, this is who I want you to be. I think this guy just walked on set and is like, I'm gonna troll the fuck out of everyone. This is what I'm doing.
So he's like the most brilliant actor, is what you're saying?
He may be the most brilliant actor known to man. Don't quote me on that, please.
As you may hate Reed, I actually hate this entire story.
Oh, yes.
Especially because you think it's going in one direction, and then at 48 minutes, you realize there's a whole other half of the film, but everyone is like dead but Reed. You're sitting here like, where are they gonna go next? And then they introduce a new character, and then they bring back Vanessa Helsing. but then you don't get the closure.
There are about like 3 or 4 different storylines here. We have Reed, I don't know what his goal was.
Be friends with Anthony.
Be friends with a vampire, which I thought he was kind of. We had Anthony trying to cope with having AIDS as a vampire, and he didn't want to live too long and shrivel up like a prune and die. Then we had Vanessa Helsing, who is the vampire killer, and then we had this
Lenore.
We had Lenore, who was like the master vampire, I guess. She came into play and she started like throwing a lot of weight around as a huge vampire, big deal. So it seemed like we were gonna have some big showdown between Reed, Anthony, and potentially a resurrected Vanessa Helsing. They forget about Lenore altogether. There is no closure to that. Vanessa Helsing, absolutely no closure. I don't even know what happened.
Technically, there was closure. In the guest coffin. They closed her in the coffin, and he's like, "What should we worry about Vanessa? No, we'll just leave her in the guest coffin."
So what happened? A resurrected vampire got bitch smacked from behind, and that's what killed her. And that was the last time that we saw her. That's fucking ridiculous for a movie that built her up. I hate this. I was so mad. And even the main Anthony, halfway through the movie, he just gets on a boat in the middle of daylight and we're like, what's he doing? He's gonna fry. And he just sits there in his sunglasses, and then that's the last time we see him because I guess he just set sail to die. He didn't even set sail. He sat on his boat, which he loved, in the marina and just got burnt up, but off screen.
On top of that, there's no explanation or no backlash to like his band members dying. Vanessa Helsing takes out the band members. Mind you, band member number 1 was probably the worst actor in this entire film.
Correct, yes, that was absolutely hilarious. I wish he stayed in there.
Something new. Prove something new. I'll be the best thing you ever had, bitch!
Don't bet on it.
That's what I mean. If you keep him, you keep Reed, the two of them, the way they deliver their lines would have been more entertaining than Anthony being melodramatic.
Probably. Although Anthony, played by Yan Birch, oh, he reminded me of Tommy Wiseau in so many scenes, especially when he gets his AIDS results.
I probably got it too.
What are you talking about, Reed? I never bit you.
No, but you bit them.
Who?
The girls, man, all the girls.
So?
Do I have to spell it out for you?
You're not serious, are you? You're a necrophiliac? That's disgusting.
Here's a big downfall. You get no on-screen kills or like any deaths. When the vampires die, it's either off-screen or the stake is being like shoved from the back, like under their armpits. Like it looks really, really bad. And when like someone gets bitten on their neck, that you don't see at all. You see a lot of awkward like eye nibbles. Anthony has a thing for nibbling eyes.
Oh, that was so creepy. It's one of those guys who's never been with a girl before.
He went right for the big boobs.
Exactly. This actually adds to it. It's like the first time that you lay with a girl, you're definitely going for the boob and you're gonna try and be suave. And it seems like Anthony had never been with a woman because he was just super quick to grab the boob and then just kissed wherever he possibly could, including like kissing her eyebrow. It was so weird. I'm sorry, Jan. It just seemed a little strange. It seemed like a 14-year-old move. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Sucker or Sucker the Vampire, whatever the movie is actually called, I don't know, sucked. I feel like a sucker for watching it. This movie was trash. I hated it. It had a lot of potential at the beginning because you know what you're getting into when you're watching a trauma movie. And so like production value aside and stuff like that, you know what kind of humor as well. And they did have cringy humor at the beginning, but it was funnier and easier to digest when you had like kind of an interesting story with Vanessa Helsing and a blood-sucking band attacking groupies. But it quickly turns to something completely different, kills off all the characters you actually kind of enjoy, and then you're left with one character that you absolutely hate that's just walking around doing dick all. I don't even know what happened in the last half hour. Nothing really happened.
The sun was rising.
I hated it, so I'm giving this 1, it's a prank, bro, out of 5.
Put it down.
Rubber.
This film has the potential to be many people's guilty pleasures because it is god-awful. But at the same time, it's so fun to make fun of. Reed is the one character in this movie that you're either gonna love him because of how stupid he is, or you're absolutely gonna hate him because of how stupid he is. The overall story is beyond weak, and it goes 180 on you at the 48-minute mark, and it has you scratching your head wondering, okay, what direction could this possibly go in? And it goes from a cool vampire story to a melodramatic drama. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this 1 Karaoke King out of 5.
$30, Reed.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can watch it because it is free on YouTube from Trauma, which is dope. And if you want the opportunity, you sadistic bastards, to recommend another movie like this, check out our Patreon rewards where you can enter our monthly movie raffle where we'll review any movie that you recommend, assuming you win. If this is your first time here, also make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond. Buy our merch.